Let's cruise Enchanted Princess Edition. Let's go. Good morning. So we are sailing into St. Thomas this morning. It's about 6:58 a.m. So we're arriving a little bit earlier than we did yesterday morning into San Juan. It almost looks the same though, doesn't it? It looks very similar. So let's sit back and we're going to enjoy some video of us arriving into St. Thomas. So Paul slept in this morning and it was just me out on the balcony watching St. Thomas get closer. So of course, as we got closer and closer, I had to grab a quick pic of St. Thomas in the background. And this was what we got to look at all day long from our balcony. I mean, how beautiful is this? You could hear the waves lapping up onto the shore. And I mean, it was just really, really nice. So this sailboat was anchored not far from the ship and not far from the dock, so we could see it from our balcony. I didn't really see a whole lot of coming and going to this sailboat, and then there was that rock formation sticking up out of the water a little ways past that, so we got to see both of those all day long as well. So as I was getting ready this morning, I realized that I had not taken a picture and shown you what we won from trivia yesterday. So we won coasters and wine stoppers from one of the trivias that we won. So as you can see, people are already starting to get off of the cruise ship, and these are actually excursion groups that are getting ready to head out for their daily excursions. So while they are getting off the ship, we are headed to breakfast. So you never know if you will be able to come back to these amazing ports again. You always hope that you can and that you will at some point. So I like to take all of the pictures of the beauty and the nature that is around as much as possible. So this is the coastline of St. Thomas from our balcony. And I snapped that picture really quick before we get ready to head to breakfast. The gang is all here and we are ready to go eat. So, fun little fact, our room is an aft balcony. Now, it's not an aft facing balcony. That just means that it's in the aft area of the ship. So you have aft, midship, and forward. And so the dining room that we eat at is the Amalfi dining room, which is the aft dining room. So we literally have to come out of our room, walk a couple of feet, then you're at the elevators, and we go down the elevators and get right off at the Amalfi dining room. So we don't have to make our way all over the ship, because everybody else who is in midship and who are in forward have to make their way to the aft elevators and then down, or the aft stairs and then down, because you cannot get directly to the Amalfi dining room from deck 6 because of where the kitchen is located. And so you can't go through the kitchen. So you have to go up and down or down and up in order to get there. And so this made it the easiest for us to be able to get to the dining room. So those are things you want to look at when you are picking your room and where you want to be in relation to the elevators and the stairs and parts of the ship that you want to be able to access the easiest. It looks like we are becoming a little bit of a broken record. Breakfast this morning is pretty much our usual at this point. So Mom and myself had an omelet with bacon, and Dad had his usual bacon and eggs. Now, I didn't take a picture of his this morning, and then Paul was really the only one who got something a little different. He got poached eggs on toast this morning, and I took a picture of my coffee and my sweet drops. Everybody's always interested in my sweet drops because I leave them on the table while I'm having my coffee so that they're accessible, and they are basically a sugar-free sweetening option. And so this one is vanilla cream. So then I just use regular cream in my coffee, and then just add that for my vanilla sweetness so that I can have my vanilla coffee anywhere that I go. So we have gotten off the ship at this point, and when we got off, I walked all the way down to the very end of the pier so that I could get a better picture of this sailboat. And as you can see, there's some other sailboats and other boats in the background over here, and it looks like maybe some hotels and things over here to the side. So I wanted to get a picture of that as well. And so you can see that this particular sailboat was actually anchored fairly close to the dock. I could have easily swam to it. I didn't, but I could have. But anyway, I always like to take, candid pictures like that of, basically life in the islands, because that's what they see on a daily basis. And so things like that, are just pretty cool to us who live on land and aren't in the ocean all that often. So I love to snap pictures like that so that you have that memory to keep with you and share. Again, when you get the chance, don't forget to grab those special photos. Welcome to St. Thomas. So you do have to walk a short way to exit the port area and head out into St. Thomas. There are some signs along the way. There is a fenced-in area for you to walk till you get to the end of the port, as you can see here. So you just walk down there, and then you can head over to the shops or to your excursion pickup locations, do a little shopping, and take a trip around the island, whatever you feel like doing. All right, so this is the path that you're going to walk to go to the shopping area that is across from the port. There are a variety of different shops for souvenirs, jewelry, watches. There's some places to eat, and even more. So they do have someone who will be stopping the pedestrian traffic for excursion vans and buses, and then they'll let you know when you can cross safely. You do still want to make sure that you are looking for oncoming traffic, just to be safe and everything. But once you have crossed over, then you can walk on up and you can start doing your shopping, your eating. There are lots of photo opportunities over here as well, and make sure you take advantage of all of those. So grabbed a few extra shots on the way back to the ship after we finished our shopping. So as you can see here, the first picture I actually took through the chain link fence. I just put my camera up to an opening there and took a picture of that area right there with all of the boats and things right off of the pier. Again, a thank you for visiting sign. I love those. And then this is actually the back of our ship. I got that picture on the way by. It was hard to get a picture of this because of the way the chain link fence was, but I wanted to try and get one at least. Well, it was super windy, as you can tell. My hair was flying all over the place, but don't let that keep you from taking all the pictures and all the different angles that you would like to take. You can edit, you can crop, and do, I can't change the wind blowing my hair, but it's a memory that I have, right? a couple more angles. I'm trying to get the sailboat in this picture. That is about really how close we were to the sailboat. We weren't exactly at the end of the pier, so I guess technically we could have gotten some closer pictures, but these were pretty good. And so on the way back, we just stopped and took a couple of extra. So I had someone ask me why I take all of these pictures like just by myself, with things like the cruise ship name or the cruise line or whatever. And well, one reason is because I am typically the one who is taking the pictures. So a lot of the times I am not in the pictures because I am the one taking the photos. And, with our cameras now and how we can turn things around and we can be included in those photos, that's one of the reasons. But I also do it for my business because I can use this as a graphic in a future ad or a future, a meme or reel that I want to make. And it includes me in it. And a lot of times that is something that is hard to find where you know who your travel agent is. And so this lets me be a little bit more real than some might be. I did manage to snag this that gets the coastline and that sailboat in. And if you noticed, the sailboat actually had moved. This is not where the sailboat was. It moved a little bit. So this was taken later in the day. And so I was able to get that where I could get the coastline and the sailboat in there, which was pretty cool. So while we were shopping, my mom bought this little guy for my classroom. I did a cruise and ocean theme in my classroom this year. And so she bought this to go in my classroom. My kids have absolutely loved it. We also got to watch a Norwegian ship come into port. On all of the cruise ships, you will see life preservers just like this one, and they typically will have the ship name on them. As you can see, this one says Enchanted Princess. Again, another great photo op. And I do believe I have one with this, and I took it on the last day that we were on the ship, so you'll see that later. Well, welcome to the Vista Lounge. So we when we got back on the ship, we went and found my dad, and because he did not get off with us due to his ankle issue. He didn't want to do an extreme amount of walking, so he didn't irritate that ankle. So he hung out on the ship while we were off, and we went to hang out in Vista Lounge for some activities. Vista Lounge on the Enchanted is where a lot of afternoon activities take place. They have things like the adult coloring pages. They're not in a book, they're in actual pages, but they'll have that. They'll do trivias, they'll do like seminars and different things. So just check your daily information. Usually you can see it in the app, or you'll get a paper copy in your room every night for what's going on, and it'll tell you where it's going on and what time. So just kind of pay attention for those. So while we were in the Vista Lounge, we used one of the newest features, and by the way, my dad and my husband both love this feature, with the medallions. So you can basically order your lunch through the app on your phone, and because they know where you are with your medallion. So have I showed you guys the medallion? Let me grab one. I think ours is right here. I've not done anything with them, so we still have them right here. So here, let me show you. So this is the medallion. This is what it looks like. So it comes with this lanyard, or you can buy this was actually Paul's. So you can actually buy like watch bands or clips to go on your Fitbits and Apple watches, or you can do it in a necklace, different things, or you can just use the lanyard that comes with it. And so this is what unlocks your room, and this is what scans you on and off the ship, things like that. But anyway, so you have this on you, so they'll know where you're at. And so you can order a drink, you can order food, and they will bring it to you because they know where you are. Now, it works fairly well. We did have a couple of instances where we ordered something and we didn't get it. It would still say pending, or it would say delivered, and we never got it. So there are some instances, and this was not too long after it had first come out. So, they're working some kinks and some bugs out. So hopefully when we go in the fall of 2025, it will be working even better. So we did have to wait a little bit, though, and let me tell you why. Because when you're in port, you have a more limited staff that is working, because part of the staff will be off and they're allowed to go into port and go to stores and get things that they need, or go visit and do their own sightseeing. So it's like their day off. And then so it's a limited staff that is working when you're having on port days. So sometimes it's going to take a little bit longer than normal. So keep that in mind if you are in port and you're ordering something and it takes a little bit longer. That's typically the reason why. So I didn't take pictures of our lunch, but it is a limited menu that you can order from. But think like burgers and fries, sandwiches and fries, things like that. There's some desserts that you can order. I don't think there's anything really big or fancy. You're not going to order a steak or something through it. It's going to be more of a limited menu. So I didn't, but they still have plenty of things for us to pick from. I even think quesadillas were on there. I had quesadillas one day that we ordered for lunch. So, and I don't know why I didn't think to take pictures of those, but I didn't. But anyway, so we did a lot of things in the Vista Lounge. This is one of the entertainment host, I guess you would call them. I don't know what their official title was, but she was in charge of several different things. She did some of the trivias that we were at. She was typically the one that was in doing the adult coloring book stuff. There's a cruise director, and then there are people who work underneath them that do a lot of the activities around the ship. So she was one of them, and I can't remember her name right now. She was very nice. We talked to her. I just cannot remember her name. If I heard it, I probably know it. But she was from the UK, so I would like to hear her talk. I miss being in the UK. I enjoyed my time when I was there. So anyway, this was the Vista Lounge, and that's kind of how we spent our afternoon. It's really nice just to go out and sit on your balcony and wait to leave St. Thomas before getting ready for dinner. So once we finished kind of doing what we were doing down in the Vista Lounge, we came on up and just to chill in our rooms for a while before we got ready for dinner. And don't forget to take the time to relax. You can really get caught up in the go, even when you're on vacation. But just remember, take a little bit of time to relax, even just, 15, 20 minutes of time to relax. It really, it was such a nice view, obviously. And it felt great out. It was breezy. Yes, it was warm, but and we're talking about the Caribbean in the summertime. So just make sure you take a little bit of time to relax. So welcome to O'Malley's. This is the Irish pub that is on board. It is a casual dining venue that is not always open. So you do need to check the hours on when it is open on port days, sea days, and see when that is, because it's not always open. So I'm wanting to say that it opened at 5 o'clock, but they didn't start serving food until 5:30. But my times might be a little bit off. If you remember when I talked about Gigi's Pizzeria, that was another casual dining venue. And casual dining venues are included on the Plus and Premier packages, but it is an upcharge if you do not have a package. It's $14.99 per person, and that covers a starter, a main dish, and what they call an after, which is dessert. And they also do have a la carte pricing if you want to pay for things individually and not do the $14.99 for like the 3-course meal. All right, so heads up. This venue is fairly small and it is very popular. So we got there early so that we could grab a table. We had seen how crowded it was a couple of other nights when we were walking by. So we knew we needed to get there early so that we could get a table. Now they do start serving drinks when they open at 5. So the bar part of it does open when you can start seating. So it is a first come, first serve. And again, I think they start taking your orders about 5:30. So we have plenty of time to look over the menu and know what we wanted to eat. So while we were waiting to order, we did order some drinks, and I tried this green drink, and I'm pretty sure it was called Clover Breeze. It was okay. I would order it again, but I thought it was something festive to go along with the Irish pub. So don't be afraid to try new things. Again, if you have the packages and that allows you to get some beverages that you would like to try, branch out from what you normally get and try some things. You can always be like, no thanks. I want something different. So this is the Sea Winch, and I really want her costume. My school that I teach at, we are the Pirates, and this would be so perfect for Talk Like a Pirate Day, or whenever we dress up, like pirates. This would be amazing. So I had to take a picture with her. I just had to, and she plays her part so well. So here is a quick look at the menu from O'Malley's. The picture on the left and the right are both drink menus, and the one in the middle is the food with the starters, main, and after. So we ordered the onion ring tower thinking that it would be enough for all 4 of us, and we quickly ordered a second. They were really, really good. They had 4 different starters to pick from, but to be honest, this one seemed to be the most popular that I saw going out to all the tables. So as you can see, it came with 5? It came with 5 onion rings on each one. So we ordered 2 to split between our table. Now remember that we each could have ordered our own appetizer, but we also knew that, we had other food coming in, dessert, and we wanted to be able to have room for dessert. So we decided just to share appetizers today since we were all eating the same thing anyway. So for the main courses, Mom and Paul had the Killarney Stout Stew, and I am sad that I did not get this because I did try theirs and it was so good. I will give you a slight disclaimer here though. We do hear that this has been taken off of the current menu at O'Malley's. I'm hoping it gets put back on because it was really good. And I had planned when we go to O'Malley's in the fall when we're on Enchanted again to get this, but now it is not on the menu, so we'll have to wait and see. And then Dad and I both got the O'Malley's burger and fries. They did have some other options. There was wings, there were fish and chips, and traditional bangers and mash. So plenty of things to pick from for everybody in your group.
If I go and join it, we go rolling through Kilkenny. Wait from the daddy of Christmas Eve.
I hope you enjoyed that group. They were amazing to listen to. They did take some requests. They couldn't do every request that they had gotten, but they did take some. But they did a really, really good job. I wanted to share that with you guys. So we wrapped up this meal with dessert. And this is what they call the afters. So it's just dessert. So we had a boozy brownie and 6-layer Guinness chocolate cake. And I think we just kind of shared it. And everybody had a little bit of bite from each so that we could try it. Now, they did also have a Bailey's Irish cream cheesecake and an Irish apple cake. So again, good variety and choices from everyone in your party. So after dinner, we took a little walk out on to the deck, and you were still able to see a little bit of St. Thomas off in the distance. So we were able to see that and snap another picture. This one kind of gets like the caption of like captures the whole island. Not really, but kind of. And so we were able to do that, walking around for a little bit. So I'm going to go into one of my favorite things, because is it really a cruise until you hear the steel drums? And so we were after we walked around on the deck, we got ready to go to the show for the night. And when we were going by the Grand Plaza, the gentleman who plays the steel drums on the ship was doing a show. And so I stopped and recorded it for a little bit. So like I said, it's not a cruise unless you've heard the steel drums. He also did play some up in the Crown bar area. So you might catch him up there as well. So take a listen. All right, we are rounding out the night in the theater with Jason Nastat. I think that is how you say his name. He is a comedian and an impressionist. He was just okay. I would probably not go and see him again, but for one show, and something to do, it was fine. But now that I've seen him, I probably wouldn't go see him again. But if you have the opportunity to catch him, I wouldn't say don't go see him, but like going to see him one time is enough for me. So not just something that I would, do over and over again. So anyway, it is time for us to call it a night. And you can catch us on our next episode, which is going to be a sea day. So we'll see you then. Thank you for watching Let's Cruise Enchanted Princess Edition. Be sure to visit us at enjoytheviewtravel.com. Hit that like, share, the notification bell. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode.